What is up guys, Jarv here, back today jumping into Destiny 2. Now in our video today we're taking a look at some key prep you need to do ahead of the Vault of Glass. So if you're looking for the right weapons, armor, mods and everything else that you need to be successful in the Vault of Glass, then be sure to stick around and enjoy the video. If you do enjoy the video, be sure to leave a comment and rating down below and consider subscribing for more Destiny 2 content. But without further delay guys, let's jump into the video. Now before we jump into the meat of today's video, I want to first invite you all to the Jarv Community Hub. This is a fast growing community Discord we have with over 4,400 incredible Guardians. So if you'd like to talk about Destiny, share your god roles, or just get fire teams together to get things done, then be sure to jump in. It's available to absolutely everyone, and a link to this can be found in the video description below. Now with Season of the Splicer in full swing and Vault of Glass merely a few days away, it's a great opportunity to look at things we need to get in hand to make sure we're well prepared when we jump into the Vault of Glass on Venus on the 22nd of May. Now in this video we're taking a look at all the standouts introduced with Season of the Splicer. It's changed up the meta inside PvE quite a bit, so with that in mind you're going to want to make sure you have all of these in your arsenal when jumping into the Vault of Glass. Now one of the first things you want to do ahead of jumping into the raid is fully upgrade your seasonal artifact. The artifact provides 12 unlockable mods each season, and some of these mods this season are insanely strong and will make incredible builds going into the raid. And one of those mods specifically is called Breach and Clear, and you'll find this in the final column of your seasonal artifact. Now this mod provides a 30% damage increase, which is in line with every other debuff inside Destiny 2. And when you pair this with things like Witherhoard and Anarchy, these provide the most uptime available due to how Anarchy provides tick damage and where Witherhoard provides a lingering damage effect. Now the description of the Breach and Clear mod reads, when using a grenade launcher, damaging a boss, damaging a champion or breaking a combatant's shield will reload your stowed weapons and causes the combatant to take increased damage for a short duration. Now as of the time I'm making this video, only 2.54% of Guardians have actually unlocked this mod. So if you make up one of the 97% of players who haven't got their hands on the Breach and Clear mod going into the Vault of Glass, be sure to fully upgrade your artifact or at least reset it to unlock this and add this to your arsenal. Now a key thing to remember with this mod is this provides a 30% damage debuff, so it won't stack with any other debuff that you apply. Things like Tether, Divinity and Tractor Cannon for example will not stack. Now a great combination you could use with this mod is Anarchy and Deafening Whisper. Now the Deafening Whisper is a void energy grenade launcher from the Season of the Hunt. You can jump back into Wrathborn hunts if you don't have one ahead of the raid, and this will provide void splash damage, and you can also create Warmind cells from this using the other artifact mod called Warmind's Decree. So as well as creating Warmind cells using your energy grenade launcher, you can also use this mod to reload your stowed weapon, Anarchy for example, all of which will be doing increased damage. So by pairing these weapons and mods together, you have a very strong add clear build indeed. Not just one that can create Warmind cells, but one that dials the damage output up to 12 and is effective against champions and bosses too. So as we said before, if you haven't unlocked the Breach and Clear mod just yet on your artifact, be sure to do as many seasonal challenges and bounties as you can, or if you have already upgraded your artifact, reset it to unlock this mod ahead of the raid on the 22nd of May. Now next up we're talking Deathbringer, and specifically the catalyst itself. And the catalyst was added in Season of the Splicer and can be obtained through playlist activities. I personally got mine through Crucible, but the catalyst overall helps improve the overall effectiveness of Deathbringer, making it a much more viable choice in endgame content. Now the Deathbringer has one of the highest damage outputs in the game, with the exception of Anarchy, and you compare this with Argent Ordnance and Blast Radius, again 2 mods available on this season's artifact, making Deathbringer a viable choice for the exotic slot going into the raid. Now the catalyst itself helps reduce the height requirement for Deathbringer by around 50%. So with what was the initial drawdown with Deathbringer, in that you had to fire it so high in the sky to deal effective damage, by reducing it by over 50%, this now eliminates the huge downside to using the weapon. And as we mentioned earlier in the video, you compare this with the Breach and Clear mod too. So once again, if you're using a kinetic or energy grenade launcher, something like the Ignition or even Salvage's Salvo for example, these provide excellent damage, but once again you could use this mod to continuously reload your stowed weapon, alternating between your grenade launcher and the Deathbringer itself. Now the Deathbringer does deal void damage, so once again you could use this with the Warmind Decree mod too to further create even more Warmind cells. And if you want to dial the Warmind cells up to 12, then you can equip an Ikelos weapon too, and these once again will provide additional sources to create those Warmind cells. Now, Argent Ordnance is normally a solar mod. This can be found on the seasonal artifact this season, but as this is a seasonal mod now, there is no element applied. So Argent Ordnance should stack with Deathbringer, helping increase its overall damage output. Now, if you do have the catalyst and haven't completed it just yet, much like myself, then the quickest and easiest way to complete it is by jumping into Chi over in the Last Wish raid. Now, to get there quickly, you can enter a wish at the Wall of Wishes. Now, if you haven't done this before, I made a video many moons ago covering where and how to enter it. I'll leave the link to that down in the video description below, but if you know where the wishing wall is, then be sure to enter the wish that you see here on screen to jump straight to Chi. And by using raid banners, this will give you full heavy ammo, and as soon as you start the encounter, a massive wave of thrall will spawn inside the door. And you want to rinse and repeat this process over and over again to finally complete your Deathbringer catalyst. Altogether, it will take roughly 20 to 30 minutes to complete, but this catalyst can make all the difference when jumping into the Vault of Glass in Season of the Splicer. And next up, we're moving on to the Star Eater scales. These are a brand new hunter exotic pair of boots introduced this season. Now, to obtain these, you can get these through Legend and Master Lost sectors exclusively. Now, the exotic rewards can be earned solo and do rotate on a daily basis, so be sure to check the director to see which Lost sectors are up and what rewards they are offering. If you don't have these already, I highly recommend that you take the time to get them, as they allowed hunters to deal insane amounts of damage using pretty much any weapon. Now, the description of Star Eater scales reads: you gain additional super energy from orbs of power you pick up, and while your super energy is full, picking up an orb of power will overcharge your super, causing you to gain a burst of healing when you cast, and also a bonus to your super damage. And at maximum overcharge, you will also gain an overshield. Now, each stack of Feast of Light will increase the damage of your super, as well as healing you when you cast. And if you can get maximum stacks, which is ×4, then this healing will become the overshield. Now, at 4 times Feast of Light, the buff is approximately 60% damage increase on the super itself. Now, this exotic really starts to shine when you start pairing it with things like Tether. Now, this increases Tether debuff for the user specifically by 108%. So whilst the rest of the fire team will be getting the benefit of the debuff, the hunter who casts a super at 4 times Feast of Light will be in a position to deal insane amounts of damage. And if you pair this with something like Anarchy or Deathbringer, as we've covered in this video, then you're setting yourself up to be the ultimate DPS machine when jumping into the Vault of Glass. Now, roaming supers are affected by this exotic too, but to make the most of this exotic and the damage output that it can provide, then I highly recommend running Top Tree Tether to help maximize your individual damage output, as well as providing an additional debuff to the rest of your fire team. Now, one of the key pieces of prep you most definitely should be doing is getting a full refresh on the Vault of Glass raid, whether that be as a new or returning player. And I made a guide earlier in the week covering each and every encounter and all their mechanics. Now, naturally, this is the Destiny 1 version of the Vault of Glass, so Bungie being Bungie, there are likely to be some subtle changes going into the Destiny 2 version. But if you want to familiarize or just refresh yourself on what the mechanics are, then be sure to check out that video, and once again, I'll leave the link to that down in the video description below. So that's our roundup of all the outliers introduced in Season of the Splicer, which will put you on the front foot jumping into the Vault of Glass raid. Now, if you enjoyed this video, be sure to check out one of the 2 videos you see here in these cards for further hints, tips and tricks for Destiny 2. I'm going to jump back into the game as always, guys, and I will catch you all again very soon.